Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg regular council meeting for November 1st, 2022 to order. The time is now 7:30 p.m. We are at the Twinsburg Government Center, the City Council Chamber. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mrs. Labby?
Here.
Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here. Wonderful. Thank you, Shannon. At this time, Mr. Bellin will lead us in the invocation of Pledge of Allegiance.
We ask for guidance and direction in all city matters before us tonight. We give thanks to be able to be together. Let us continue to strive to make our community a better place. Help us to work together, and may we give our best always. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. The regular council meeting last week, October 25th. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes of that meeting? And is there any discussion regarding said minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second. All right, Mr. Fury made a motion, and Mr. Post seconded. Any other discussion on the motion on the floor? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
The approval of the minutes passes 7-0. Moving on, item number 4, awards and presentations. Shannon, do we have anything this evening?
There is none.
All right. Audience participation. Do we have any audience participation?
We do. We have one. Chuck Bonacci?
Wonderful.
Good evening. Chuck Bonacci, 11327 Heritage Drive in Twinsburg, Ohio. Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor, Law Director, Shannon. A couple things on my prepared remarks for tonight. It all relates to environmental kind of stuff. Next Wednesday, the 9th of November, there will be a presentation at the Twinsburg Public Library on being good environmental stewards. Specifically, we're going to have presentations from Cindy Kurt. She's one of the educators at the high school. She's over the environmental classes, and she's going to have a presentation on water stewardship. And then we're also going to have a presentation about the waste management recycling program that we as residents get to enjoy, and hopefully communicate how we could do things better. So that will be Wednesday, November 9th, 6:30 p.m. at the library. Registration on the library's website's recommended. They have a few dozen seats still available, so there's good that there's only a few dozen seats. That means that people are already registered, but hopefully there's going to be a full house there. Second thing, a few council meetings ago, there was a presentation from Waste Management. They talked about some things that they're doing inside their recycling centers and what they're doing with their trucks. Another thing they're doing with their trucks was they provided an opportunity for me to ride along with them to see what their day is like. You know, there's some conceptions out there about what a waste hauler does, what they're capable of doing, and what they should be doing. And I rode around, Vince from Waste Management and Casey worked with Simone and Chris from the service department to hook me up with the opportunity to do this, and I rode with Red. Red happens to be a well-seasoned waste management employee who has worked for dozens of years in that industry, for WM and for other haulers. Red lives in Twinsburg. He's a Twinsburg resident that happens to have a route in Twinsburg. He drives one of the dozen trucks that are on Twinsburg roads on Tuesdays, picking up our recyclables and our trash. 7 waste trucks, 5 recycling trucks. Now, there's lots of material that can be recycled. There's some things that should be waste, and there's other programs that the city has that could divert waste from that landfill stream into another stream. So some of the stuff I saw in the few hours I was with Red. Number 1, be aware when you're around a trash truck. They're giant pieces of equipment with incredibly powerful hydraulics. There was a woman running that cut through an intersection, and from my perspective, she looked like she was about a foot away from getting ran over. Red slammed on stopped the truck, said, wow, that was kind of odd. She doesn't see us coming. She was in her little zone running. So pay attention to where you are. whether you're on your foot or in the cars. They're big pieces of equipment. They have a ton of mirrors. The drivers are very safe, but do your part to be situationally aware. Number 2, think about what you're putting in your bins. A few months ago, I talked about what's recyclable and what's not. There were things that were in those bins that were set out for recycling, and I was with a waste truck. The routes are kind of set up that the waste truck and the recycling truck starts on opposite ends of things, because if they're all together, it creates gridlock for them. So they're on opposite ends of things. So I was on a part of the route where the recycle truck hasn't been yet, but the waste truck was. And as Red would see things that were put, maybe the recycle bin was full. There was one instance, there was a box of hangers in the recycle bin. The hangers, while they're metal or plastic, they don't fit into that recycle stream. Red got out of the truck, picked that piece out of that box of hangers, put it in his little hopper, off to the landfill it goes. It ultimately saves Waste Management a little bit of money to do that. Now, there were other folks that were disposing of things like little Tykes toys and plastic toys, that kind of stuff, and they had them in their recycle bins or right next to the recycle bins. That's stuff that you could probably donate to Goodwill. It lasts a lifetime. That step 2 stuff, the little Tykes stuff, heck, I'm 40-some years old. My little niece is still playing with some of the stuff that my brother and I darn near wore out, and it still is good. Be a good steward with that stuff. Get it to Goodwill, Volunteers of America, a church, wherever they could repurpose it, get it to that stream. Yard waste. We have an excellent program for leaf pickup, right? In branches. There was one house, that bin lifted up, there wasn't a speck of household trash in it. It was filled with leaves. The benefit of the city picking up the leaves is it's going to get sucked up. It's going to go over to one of the landscape suppliers. It's going to become compost, topsoil, peat. It's not going to end up in the big pile of the landfill.
Time.
We could do better, residents. I just wanted to bring that stuff to your attention. But mainly, be safe around those trucks.
Thanks, Chuck.
That's all we have this evening.
I appreciate that. Mr. Post, you have something to add?
Mr. Bonacci, I got to tell you something. I love listening to you speak, mostly when you talk about food, and sometimes when you talk about jumping the sidewalk, which I still think of you every time I do, sir. But your passion when you are into something is fabulous, and I love everything you've done with the Environmental Commission, and I want to thank you for speaking on recycling and being such an active member, not just being on the board, but actually being so active. And I just want to thank you for your positivity with everything you do. So thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. That moves us on to, where are we on my list here? Council communication and committee reports. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Post?
Well, I'd love to. Thank you, sir. Not much has happened in a week or so here, but I was going to mention next Wednesday, as Mr. Bonacci did next Wednesday in the library, 6:30. I hope that people go and they learn a little bit, and that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mrs. Lavy, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I did go to the swearing in of Lieutenant Bob Waltz. There will also be another swearing in tomorrow of Detective Sergeant Alan Tedusky to Detective Lieutenant. So good things are really happening in our police department. Also tomorrow I have a Twins Days meeting, 7 o'clock in the Twins Days office. The next Jedi meeting is Monday, November 14th at 6. The next CIC meeting won't be till January 12th, 2023. The next Parks and Rec meeting will not be till February 2023. I had the opportunity to go to the senior Halloween party last Friday, and kudos to Laura Seifer. Or is it Cipher? What is it, Sam? Is it Seifer or Cipher? Cipher? For a very fun event that drew compliments from everyone in attendance, including Jen Benson, who is her boss, and she just does a wonderful job. The seniors are collecting food items for St. Cosmas and Damien Food Pantry until December 2nd. Also happening at the Senior Center, there's a free community Thanksgiving dinner, November 22nd from 4 to 7. Register on twinsburgrecreation.com or call the center. You can also register for seniors, Cub Scout leaf raking until November 19th, and register for senior snow plowing. If you're 65 and over, applications are available Registration ends November 30th. And I just wanted to wish all the candidates good luck and tell everyone, please go out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Labby. Mr. Bellon, good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Hope everybody had a happy and safe Halloween and trick or treat last night. I would like to offer a special thanks to the members of the Twinsburg Police Department, Fire Department, our CERT team for out and having a presence out and about last night. It was great to see them out amongst the children. And I hope everybody had a wonderful time. The Public Works meeting that was scheduled for this evening was canceled due to lack of agenda items. The next meeting of the Public Works will not be until 2023. I don't believe that it has been scheduled at this point. Next meeting of the Golf Advisory Board will be on Tuesday, November 15th here in Council Chambers at 6 p.m. And the next meeting of the Finance Committee will be on Tuesday, November 22nd, also 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Nothing further this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bellon. Mrs. Walker, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I also attended the senior Halloween party, and I felt left out, Karen and I did, because all the seniors were dressed up like pumpkins and princesses, and it was just a really good event to see them with their costumes on, and food was prepared, and it appeared that the whole room was filled with seniors, and they are so cute. That's all I can say. They're just cute people, and they asked questions. The mayor was there, Karen was there, and we really had a great time talking to them. And I attended the Studio Wish ribbon cutting, and a great place. It's absolutely gorgeous on the inside. The mayor was there also as he cut the ribbon with them, and it's a very nice place. That's all I can say. I've never been there. I've been inside, but I've never had their services. But it seems to be the top of the line. So, and they do it all. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Mr. Fury, good evening.
Thank you, and good evening. The board of, the ARB will meet this Thursday, November 3rd at 6 p.m. There are 3 cases on the agenda. Mrs. Labby's already talked about the JEDI and the CIC. And on the Boy Scouts doing the leaves, was there contacting Cosmos and Damien for that, or?
I think you registered to the rec center.
Okay, because St. Cosmos and Damien is also taking seniors that want their leaves, it helps with their leaves. They're asking you to call the parish rectory at 330-425-8141. So lots of people trying to get the Boy Scouts to rake those leaves. So that's all I have this evening, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Since our last council meeting, none of my committees have met. However, we do have a planning commission meeting scheduled for Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. They are still working on the agenda items for that meeting. As Mrs. Labby stated, I'd just like to echo everybody get out there and vote Tuesday, November 8th. Any questions about voting, your precincts or wards or any of that good stuff, voting locations, Summit County Board of Elections website is fabulous. It's easy to navigate. I encourage anybody to go there or certainly reach out to anybody at City Hall if they have any questions about that. I want to make sure people have access to the polls. The only other thing, I guess I'd give a shout out to my son Jackson, who ran his first half marathon on Sunday and finished in a respectable 1 hour and 47 minutes, which I can't drive that far in that amount of time, and also finished first in his age group. So congratulations.
Very good.
And that concludes my report. Mayor Scafidi.
Good evening. A couple things that were mentioned, but I want to mention them again. I did attend and help out with the ribbon cutting at Studio Wish Salon and Spa. And it's right in the Giant Eagle Plaza. It used to be down in the corner, and they just moved to a new location right next to Giant Eagle that used to be the Hallmark store once upon a time. And what Lorena Yeager has done to that facility is beautiful, and you've got to go see it. She's got several areas in there, not only the hairstyling area, but the nail area and the spa area. And I mean, it's really, it was decorated beautifully. And I don't know if it was all her idea, the decoration. I know she had it done, but very tastefully done. And I think she's going to do very well. And just thank her for keeping her business here in Twinsburg and, not only expanding, but expanding in the city and not moving out of the city. So thank you for that reinvestment. Also, yesterday we had a ribbon cutting at the October Sun Studio on East Aurora Road. That's just between Dunkin' Donuts and the square in one of the houses there. The lady bought the property, lives in the property, but it's a local artist and authors gallery and gift shop. There's an art studio. They have classes there. They have art for fun and art for healing. And she's really got, she's not all the way done yet. Next spring, she's got some plans for the property. She has a shed that was put up in the back of the property where that's another part of the studio, and there'll be classes and lessons there as well. So if you go in there and see some of her artwork, it's beautiful. It's really nice. And she's really, she actually, today she took off. She's in New York at a book signing. She wrote a book. So she's doing some really great things here, and I'd like to thank her for opening her business here in Twinsburg and being a part of our business community. As was mentioned earlier, I attended the senior holiday party last week, and what a party that was. Those folks really know how to have a good time.
They do.
And they were dressed really some great costumes there. I happened to be with one that was dressed as a cheerleader. She probably took a cheer for me, but I never did see that. So, but I'm sure she could have done it if she wanted to. There's no doubt in my mind, because they're very happy people. So it was all good. And thanks to Jen and Laura for all that they do and their staff for putting that together for us. It's really a great event. On to the BZA, Board of Zoning Appeals, met last week. And we got appeal number 5/2022. That was a variance request at 8867 Maryvale Drive, located in R5 district. Request permit for construction of an attached single-car garage with an extension driveway. There was a neighbor that appeared to express their objection, as well as we had an objection from on pay that was written in from another neighbor. So at that meeting, the board tabled that appeal in a 5-2 vote to give the applicant an opportunity to discuss some other options there with the building department, and just to see where, still try to get them to get the additional storage and space that they need. But unfortunately, it could not be done on the side of that garage. It was too close to the sidelines, the side property line. Then we had appeal number 6/2022. That was a variance request for 1813 Westwood Drive, located in the R4 district. The applicant requests a permit for construction of an accessory structure detached shed. And after the public hearing, the board did vote to approve it 5-0. So, and I will be making, like I said earlier, I will be making a motion at the miscellaneous in this meeting to waive the 30-day waiting period so they can get their permit and move on. Speaking of good things happening in Twinsburg, Together Twinsburg is a great thing, and I think that it's as soon as we get it off, it's going to be a wonderful tool for all of us. Unfortunately, our administrator had a personal family emergency that prevented him from attending the launch online meeting to get it going, to get it launched. So it'll be delayed a few days, but we expect to launch it by the end of this week. So all good news there, and I think that that's going to really help with our transparency and some of the things that I heard earlier at the podium from Mrs. Clark, that it might even help in that situation as well. We'll see how we can integrate that into Together Twinsburg and make it be a transparent piece of information, informational tool that we want it to be and that it's designed to be. Other than that, that's all I have. That's it. Thank you. End of my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any department heads reporting this evening?
No reports.
Okay. Moving along to legislation. We will start this evening with ordinance 91, 2022.
An ordinance accepting the lands and improvements dedicated to public use for the Whispering Woods Phase 3 subdivision, accepting the maintenance guarantee and reducing the performance guarantee accordingly.
All right, so this ordinance has been read now for a total of 3 times. At the request of staff, we've asked council to just pass over it this evening to allow time to finalize some site concerns prior to council taking action on this. That brings us to ordinance 96, 2022.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the city of Reminderville to provide certain police and fire dispatching services.
All right, so that's the first reading of 96, 2022. That moves us along to item number 10, unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mr. Bellin, do you have anything this evening?
I just like to wish everybody good luck next Tuesday. Special thanks to all the folks that make our election process seamless and make it possible, especially the poll workers. That is not an easy job. It's an all-day thing, and I really do appreciate it. Nothing further this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. Mrs. Walker?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Fury?
Remember to turn your clocks back Saturday. It's fall back.
Fall back.
Fall back.
Remember when you were excited that the bar stayed open for another hour in your youth?
Years in my youth.
In your youth.
Years ago.
Still
you
your
mean
youth.
you mean like the last couple of years?
Absolutely. Well, you're still celebrating your youth. All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Mr. Post, anything?
Speaking of my youth, I feel very old today, as my oldest daughter turns 21 today. Some of you probably remember running around like a little kid. I'm getting old, so
She'll be celebrating.
happy
Class
birthday,
20 back.
happy 21st birthday to my daughter Jenna. So she's a good one. Love it. Excellent. And other than that, that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Mrs. Levy? Mayor?
Yeah, I do have one thing. I would like to make a motion that we waive the 30-day waiting period on appeal number 06-2022, and that's the variance request for 1813 Westwood Drive. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury, second. Any discussion? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, that motion passes 7-0. Awesome. Mr. Bazan, anything this evening?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Collins?
Nothing, thank you.
And I have nothing else to add other than to, again, just tell everybody to get out there and vote. And we'll all be behind us this time next week. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. We have no absent members. Is there a second?
I second.
Mrs. Walker seconds. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
All right, at 7:52 p.m., the meeting is adjourned.